Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my presentation for EDC1200 Self-Education and Society Assignment 2. During this presentation, I will describe a current event and explain how this event can be used to teach difference, dominance, and diversity in our classrooms. The first question I would like you to think about this morning is, what do these famous people have in common? There is some association between all of these individuals and Asperger's syndrome. The term Asperger's syndrome has been described by Tim Leslie and Tony Atwood as a neuron development disorder, one of the sites of conditions making up the autism spectrum. I would now like to draw your attention to the current event I have chosen to use as the focus for this presentation. It is an article written by Tim Leslie from the ABC News. He spoke with Tony Atwood, a psychologist who specialises in treating children with Asperger's syndrome, on the 18th of February 2011 for International Asperger's Day. Tony Atwood suggests that we need to celebrate difference and that the public needs to recognise the talents that often come with Asperger's. Asperger's syndrome describes someone who is different to the dominant concept of normal. Any variation from the norm, what is expected and accepted from society, results in discomfort and non-acceptance. Society places limits on variations from norms of ability, appearance, and behaviour. Individual differences may arise from physical, sensory, intellectual, emotional, social, or behavioural disorders. Austin on slide 2, Education and Otherness, states that someone who is outside the accepted norms determined by the dominant society is described as other. An individual with symptoms and behaviour of Asperger's is often outcasted, marginalised through ridicule. These individuals may often be the butt of jokes, excluded, teased and bullied, which can exacerbate their condition. They are unique individuals, a concept the dominant society underestimates and despises, often because of a lack of understanding, ignorance or intolerance. McMaster and Austin 2005 state that this construction of the other is often done out of ignorance and fear of the unknown. However, it is also used to marginalise people. In the dominant society, differences are expected to be in the areas of physical or intellectual disability, where individuals are deficient and needing extra help. A child with Asperger's syndrome is neither of these disabilities. They could be a whiz at maths, computers, music, science and art, but socially at odds. As educators, we need to recognise talents and strengths as well as different learning styles within the diversity of our classroom, so that every individual can be encouraged to develop to their fullest potential. Curriculum. There are many ways in which the current event article written by Tim Leslie can be implemented within our curriculum. Opportunities abound, particularly within the Year 3 Health and Physical Education curriculum and the SOS curriculum, to identify and discuss difference, dominance and diversity within Australian, national and community identities. As a transformative educator, we need to celebrate and promote an acceptance that everyone is different and embrace these differences. We need to educate our students to live by the golden rule: treat others the way you would like to be treated. All children deserve the right to be in a safe and happy environment throughout their school years. As stated by Austin in Lecture 8, Difference, Dominance and Diversity, difference needs to be seen as just different, not wrong. There are many learning experiences to assist students to embrace difference. A class discussion could be to ask students to think about the word different in the context of appearance, dress, families, likes, dislikes, music, sport, activities and food. From here, students could use the following 6-box framework to record aspects of personal uniqueness. Students could find a partner and tell each other about any of the likes and dislikes they have recorded or thought about. They could finish by saying, "Thanks, you are special and so am I." This could then lead into a discussion on things that make them feel special and different. Students could talk about their emotions, what makes them feel happy, sad, laugh, cry. This part of the activity encourages children to empathise with what other children share. They may start to understand that while there are things that make us different, many of us feel the same when faced with similar situations. Creating and analysing faces of different emotions is another activity branching out from here. This overarching activity will teach several things. Firstly, that children come in different shapes, sizes, gender, representations and colours. Secondly, that we are all different yet the same. Thirdly, that we can celebrate diversity. The aim is to encourage tolerance for children from different backgrounds. As Austin in the lecture Difference, Dominance on Diversity suggests, within our classroom we can maintain the appreciation of diversity and the concept to live and let others live. Children could be asked to draw a picture of themselves. On a second piece of paper they could write and draw pictures of 3 things they are good at. This could be attached to their portrait and displayed around the room. Another learning opportunity around the theme difference could be gained in asking the children to recall a time when they felt like they didn't fit in, and encouraging them to write about it in a story and then share with the whole class. Emphasis would be drawn to the fact that each of them are different. No 2 people are the same. This introduces the students to the concept of self and other. As noted by Austin in Chapter 2 of Culture and Identity, through a self-defining activity, the individual engages in questions and thought about the self and other. A learning activity specifically centred around the theme of Asperger's syndrome would incorporate 2 things. Firstly, the current event article where Tim Leslie states that Asperger's syndrome describes someone who is different. Secondly, the book All Cats Have Asperger's Syndrome could be presented. It explains behavioural differences of children with Asperger's through comparisons to cats. This helps to establish an understanding for normal children to understand those behaviours in their peers and why they act differently. A class discussion and activity would be encouraging children to find different pictures of different animals. They could then sort them into pets and wild animals. A discussion could then be based on the question, what do they have that are similar and what are different? A class table or group or graph could be compiled on those who have cats. Children could be encouraged to discuss the different types of cats and things that their cats like to do. These children with special needs, such as Asperger's syndrome, have so much to offer the world. If others in their world were to treat them with the respect and dignity they deserve, not only would this provide them with an opportunity to gain much wisdom and self-growth, but these special needs children would also have the opportunity to be seen as a wonderful, valued member of our society. There needs to be promoted in our society values of empathy and compassion, as well as less judgment being given to those who are different.